Here's an often overlooked fact: the snacks we choose, even something as simple as a few nuts, can subtly influence our hormone balance, prostate function, and sexual health over time. For men past 60, as testosterone levels naturally fall, the prostate can become more sensitive and energy levels may fluctuate. Even the tiniest daily decisions, like what you add to your trail mix or smoothie, can have a noticeable impact. Still, the world of health advice is full of mixed messages. Some insist all nuts support heart health, while others argue certain types affect hormones or skin. One moment almonds are praised as a miracle food, and the next they're questioned. Then someone else claims they'll lower your testosterone, leaving many men unsure of what to believe or simply ready to quit trying. The reality is, different nuts have different effects, particularly when considering hormone fluctuations, aging, prostate health, and metabolism changes that become more noticeable after 60. Today, we'll clear up the confusion. In this video, I'll share 4 types of nuts that could be quietly draining your energy, lowering testosterone, or affecting prostate health, especially if you eat them often without knowing their effects. Even better, I'll reveal 4 research-supported options that can help in the opposite way by balancing hormones, easing inflammation, and naturally supporting prostate function. And no, this isn't meant to create fear. It's about understanding the facts. By the time men reach 60, more than half experience some level of benign prostatic hyperplasia (BPHE), which can cause frequent urination, reduced flow, and discomfort. Many also deal with rising insulin resistance, declining testosterone, or ongoing fatigue. What you eat can either help or quietly worsen these issues. Let's go through it the way I would with a patient in my clinic. You deserve honest, science-backed information, not hype or guilt. You also deserve to feel sure about the choices you make for your body. We'll review the latest studies, debunk a few myths, and provide practical strategies you can actually apply. Let's dive in with a brief look at what we'll cover. First, it's important to understand something many men overlook: not every plant-based food automatically supports hormones, and this applies to some nuts. While nuts offer healthy fats, fiber, and essential nutrients, certain types can contain compounds that mimic estrogen, trigger inflammation, or disrupt the body's ability to sustain optimal testosterone. That said, this doesn't mean these nuts are harmful on their own. After 60, hormone levels shift. Testosterone slowly drops, typically around 1% per year after your mid-30s, and the body grows more responsive to compounds that disrupt the endocrine system. To explain clearly, as I would to a patient, nuts such as pistachios, peanuts, and cashews have higher amounts of phytoestrogens, plant-based compounds that can attach to estrogen receptors in the body. In moderation, this might not be an issue, but when consumed daily and in large amounts, especially in processed or roasted forms, these nuts can potentially skew your hormonal balance, particularly when testosterone is already lower. A study published in Environmental Health Perspectives found that exposure to estrogen, like compounds through food and environment, is linked to a higher incidence of hormonal imbalance in aging men, including lower free testosterone and symptoms of fatigue or decreased libido. Let's take peanuts, for example. Technically a legume, not a nut, peanuts are often high in omega-6 fatty acids, the kind that in excess contribute to inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the underlying factors in many age conditions, including BPH and insulin resistance. Peanuts also frequently harbor aflatoxins, a kind of mold toxin that's been shown to damage liver function and potentially increase oxidative stress. While the levels in most commercially available peanuts are regulated, frequent consumption, especially of non-organic or poor-quality peanuts, might still raise long-term health concerns. Another example is cashews, creamy, satisfying, but lower in testosterone-supportive minerals like zinc or selenium. Plus, they're energy-dense, and in older men dealing with slower metabolism, high intake may contribute to weight gain, which is itself linked to lower testosterone. Now, this isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Think of your hormone system like a finely tuned orchestra. One or two instruments out of sync can throw off the whole performance. If your daily nut choices are subtly tipping that balance toward more estrogenic or inflammatory pathways, it's worth reevaluating. So, here's what the research shows. Men with higher intakes of zinc, selenium, and magnesium, often found in different types of nuts, have better total and free testosterone levels, improved sperm quality, and reduced risk of prostate enlargement. So before we explore the exact nuts to avoid, I want you to ask yourself, what am I putting into my body every single day that could be working against me without me realizing it? Up next, we'll zoom in on the 4 specific nuts you might want to limit or avoid altogether, especially after age 60. And if this is helping clarify things, give it a thumbs up and keep learning. You deserve information, not confusion. So, let's get specific. Here are 4 nuts that I often ask my older male patients to either limit or remove, especially if they're struggling with low testosterone, prostate issues, weight gain, or chronic inflammation. These aren't inherently bad foods, but after 60, your body's hormonal environment becomes more sensitive, and the nutritional profile of these nuts might start working against your goals. Let's break them down. Number 1, peanuts. Yes, they're everywhere from peanut butter to protein bars. But here's what most people don't realize. Peanuts are technically legumes, not true nuts. That means they carry different compounds, including lectins, which can irritate the gut lining in some individuals. More concerning, peanuts are among the most common carriers of aflatoxins, toxic mold byproducts linked to liver stress and cellular damage. Aflatoxins have been shown to promote oxidative stress, a driver of aging and hormonal imbalance. Combine that with peanuts' high omega-6 content, and you've got a pro-inflammatory profile that may subtly undermine prostate health and testosterone function over time. Number 2, cashews. Cashews are smooth, buttery, and delicious, but they're also relatively low in zinc, a mineral essential for testosterone synthesis. They're also high in phytic acid, an anti-nutrient that can reduce the absorption of zinc, magnesium, and iron, all critical for hormone balance. And while occasional cashew consumption isn't harmful, men eating large amounts of cashew-based snacks, vegan cheeses, or sauces may be unknowingly displacing more nutrient-dense options like pumpkin seeds or Brazil nuts. Number 3, pine nuts. A lesser-known concern, but important. Pine nuts can trigger a condition known as pine mouth, a lingering metallic taste that can last for days. But beyond that, pine nuts are very high in omega-6 fatty acids with minimal omega-3s to balance them out. This contributes to the kind of inflammatory tilt that can exacerbate BPH symptoms and chronic fatigue in older men. Number 4, flavored roasted or salted mixed nuts. It's not just the type of nut, it's how it's processed. Many popular mixed nut blends are roasted in vegetable oils like canola or soybean, which further spike omega-6 levels. Add preservatives, excess sodium, and artificial flavorings, and you've turned a nutrient-rich food into a pro-inflammatory snack bomb. A 2021 meta-analysis published in Nutrients highlighted that dietary patterns high in refined seed oils and sodium are correlated with increased markers of systemic inflammation and worsened neurological symptoms in older men. Let's separate fear from fact. The occasional handful of these won't wreck your hormones, but if they're a daily staple and you're noticing low energy, disrupted sleep, frequent urination, or reduced libido, it's worth rethinking. And now the empowering part, there are better choices. If this resonates, drop a comment below, especially if you've noticed how certain snacks make you feel better or worse. This kind of awareness is the first step toward taking control. Now that we've covered the nuts to limit, let's shift into the nutritional allies for nuts that are not just safe, but strategically supportive of your vitality, hormones, and prostate. These aren't just good snacks. They're like micro doses of medicine when chosen and used intentionally. Let's break each one down like I would in a consult. Number 1, Brazil nut to the selenium powerhouse. If I could only recommend one nut for testosterone support, it would be the Brazil nut. Why? Selenium. This trace mineral plays a key role in testosterone production and sperm health, and just 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day provides 100 to 200% of your daily selenium needs. A study published in Biological Trace Element Research found that men with higher selenium levels had significantly better sperm motility, healthier testosterone levels, and reduced markers of oxidative stress. Just don't overdo it because selenium can be toxic in high doses. Stick to 1 or 2 Brazil nuts per day, ideally unsalted and raw. Number 2, walnuts to brain and prostate defender. Walnuts are rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 that supports anti-inflammatory pathways. They also contain ellagic acid, an antioxidant shown to reduce oxidative damage in prostate tissue. In a 2015 study in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry, walnut consumption was associated with slower prostate tumor growth in animal models, likely due to its impact on inflammation and lipid metabolism. Think of walnuts as a dual-action ally, good for your brain, your heart, and your prostate. A small handful, about 7 halves, a few times per week, can go a long way. Number 3, pumpkin seeds to zinc-rich hormone helpers. Technically a seed, but often lumped in with nuts, pumpkin seeds are packed with zinc, a mineral that's essential for testosterone synthesis, prostate fluid production, and even libido regulation. Zinc deficiency is common in older men, especially those on certain medications like diuretics or PPIs. Low zinc is associated with reduced testosterone, poor immune function, and even erectile dysfunction. A study published in Nutrition found that supplementing with zinc in deficient men improves serum testosterone and sexual function within just a few months. 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw unsalted pumpkin seeds daily, either on salads, yogurt, or alone, is a simple, effective practice. Number 4, macadamia nuts to testosterone-friendly fats. Macadamia are high in monounsaturated fats, low in omega-6, and virtually free of anti-nutrients like phytic acid. That makes them a nearly perfect fat source for men concerned about inflammation and hormonal balance. Plus, they're rich in palmitoleic acid, a unique fat that may support fat metabolism and insulin sensitivity, both linked to better testosterone levels and reduced abdominal fat. Think of macadamia as the olive oil of nuts, clean, anti-inflammatory, and easy to digest. A small serving of 5 to 6 nuts makes a powerful, satisfying snack. So, as a quick recap, Brazil nuts equals selenium for testosterone, walnuts equals omega-3s and prostate antioxidants, pumpkin seeds equals zinc for hormone production, macadamia equals clean fats that won't stir up inflammation. In the next section, we'll zoom out and talk about how to eat these in a balanced way, because even good foods in the wrong portions or combinations can lose their magic. If this kind of practical, research-backed guidance is helping, consider subscribing. You deserve clarity, not confusion. And that's exactly what we're here to give. You've learned which nuts to avoid and which to prioritize. But now comes the part that truly personalizes your approach: portion control, preparation methods, and strategic pairing. And let's start with portion. Nuts are calorically dense. A small handful can contain 150 to 200 calories, often without making you feel full. And for many men over 60, metabolism slows down, muscle mass decreases, and weight gain becomes easier, especially in the abdominal area where excess fat can convert testosterone into estrogen via an enzyme called aromatase. So here's a simple rule of thumb. Stick to about 1 oz per serving. That's roughly 6 Brazil nuts, 10 to 12 macadamia, 14 walnut halves, 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds. Once a day is often enough if you're getting other healthy fats from olive oil, fatty fish, or avocados. It's about consistency, not excess. Next, let's talk preparation. Many commercially sold nuts are roasted in vegetable oils like soybean, sunflower, or canola, which are high in omega-6 fatty acids. These oils can tip the body's inflammation balance, especially if omega-3 intake is low. A better choice, raw or dry roasted nuts without added oils. Even better if they're unsalted, since excess sodium can raise blood pressure and irritate the bladder, especially in men with an enlarged prostate. If you enjoy roasted nuts, consider roasting your own at home with a light touch of olive oil and spices, or even a pinch of turmeric or paprika, both of which have anti-inflammatory benefits. Now, pairing. How you combine nuts with other foods can influence their impact. Pairing nuts with high-fiber foods like fruits, oats, or leafy greens can slow the absorption of fat and reduce blood sugar spikes. This helps maintain insulin sensitivity, which is deeply connected to hormonal health. In fact, men with insulin resistance are far more likely to experience low testosterone, BPH symptoms, and fatigue. Avoid combining nuts with sugary trail mixes or high-carb processed foods, which can negate their benefits and contribute to metabolic dysfunction. A simple snack idea: Greek yogurt with walnuts and pumpkin seeds, a few macadamia with cucumber slices and hummus, a Brazil nut or two with morning oatmeal or after your walk. And finally, timing. Some men find that eating nuts in the evening leads to better satiety and sleep, especially if they're magnesium-rich, like pumpkin seeds or walnuts. Magnesium is vital for testosterone production during sleep and for calming the nervous system, two key elements in male vitality. So, think of nuts not as an automatic health food, but as a tool, powerful when used wisely. Now that we've covered which nuts to prioritize and how to prepare them, let's talk about how to make them work for you every single day without overthinking it. Because here's the reality: knowledge means very little without consistency. What matters most is building simple, sustainable habits that integrate naturally into your life. Let's start with the morning. Start your day with hormone-building minerals. Consider adding 1 to 2 Brazil nuts to your morning routine. Pop them in a smoothie, crumble them over your oatmeal, or just eat them plain alongside your coffee. This gives your body selenium early in the day, which supports testosterone synthesis and antioxidant protection, a key defense against prostate stress. Midday is a great time to check in with hunger and energy. This is often when men grab a snack, and it's also where the wrong choice, like salted peanuts or chips, can derail energy and hormones. Replace processed snacks with macadamia or pumpkin seeds. Keep a small container of raw, unsalted macadamia or roasted pumpkin seeds at your desk or in your car. These options are anti-inflammatory, packed with healthy fats and minerals, and gentle on the digestive system. They also help keep blood sugar stable, preventing that mid-afternoon energy dip. In the evening, focus on sleep and recovery. A small serving of walnuts or pumpkin seeds can be beneficial, as both are high in magnesium, which supports deeper sleep and overnight testosterone production. A few walnuts with tart cherry juice or pumpkin seeds stirred into yogurt can be an easy pre-bedtime habit that cues the body to rest and repair. Staying hydrated is important. Nuts have very little water, so if you don't drink enough fluids, you may face constipation, slower metabolism, or worsened urinary issues, especially with BPH. Pair your nuts with water, herbal teas, or water-rich foods like cucumbers and berries. Soaking nuts can also lower anti-nutrients such as phytic acid, making minerals like zinc and magnesium easier to absorb. A simple overnight soak for nuts and seeds like almonds or pumpkin seeds can improve digestion and nutrient uptake. And here's a doctor's tip I often give my patients: rotate your nuts throughout the week. This prevents overexposure to one compound or nutrient and supports a broader mineral intake. For example, Monday, Wednesday, Brazil in the morning. Tuesday, Thursday, pumpkin seeds midday. Friday, walnuts before bed. Weekend, macadamia with lunch or as a travel snack. It's a flexible system that supports nutrient variety and gives your body the balance it needs without ever feeling like a diet. And finally, take note of how your body responds. If you feel more energetic, sleep better, or notice fewer BPA symptoms, pay attention. That feedback is more valuable than any lab result. Let's take a breath and zoom out. You've just learned how something as ordinary as the nuts in your kitchen drawer can have a profound impact on your testosterone levels, prostate health, and overall energy, especially after age 60 when the body becomes more responsive to what we feed it. Research indicates that certain nuts, such as peanuts, cashews, pine nuts, and highly processed mixed varieties, can increase estrogenic effects, promote inflammation, or create nutrient imbalances, especially in older men. Nuts and seeds such as Brazil nuts, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and macadamias are packed with selenium, zinc, omega-3s, and anti-inflammatory fats that promote hormone balance, lower oxidative stress, and support prostate health. How you prepare and portion them is important. Choose raw or dry, roasted, unsalted options, soak when possible, and combine with water and fiber-rich foods to improve digestion and nutrient absorption. Ultimately, the real impact comes from how regularly and mindfully you include them in your routine. This isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. You don't need to completely change your diet overnight. Begin with a simple change. Tomorrow, try swapping your usual breakfast bar for a couple of Brazil nuts and a glass of water, or take a handful of pumpkin seeds on your next walk. The body can respond, even past 60. Even if you face challenges for years, what you need is solid information and a steady plan. Here's my encouragement for you. Choose one nut to cut out this week and one to include. Pair your snacks with extra water and pay attention to how your body reacts without judgment. You deserve a body that supports you, not works against you, and you deserve to age with strength, clarity, and confidence. If this video gave you insight, like it and share it with someone who could benefit. Join the conversation and subscribe for practical, shame-free health guidance from someone who sees this in the clinic every day. Stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you next time.